Okay, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Shamanic Communion, the March edition. And exceptionally, this time I'm recording the call from Australia, which is quite interesting because as I'm preparing the monthly theme and I'm preparing to talk about spring, here they are getting ready to go into fall. So the opposite season. So that was interesting to prepare with different energy from the other side of the world. But for those of you that joined for the first time tonight, I just want to give you a little bit outline of the call. So first, I'm going to open our ceremony tonight with a prayer, and I invite you to join me in that prayer. Then I will share a little bit about the monthly theme, what's happening right now with nature and what we call the shamanic months. Then after that, I will give you some directions around what's happening and how you can connect to those energies and connect yourself for your own healing, your own guidance in this month. And that's a pretty special month in March because it's official beginning of the year for nature. Spring, that's this new year, the real new year. In fact, I think our calendar is really messed up. Our Gregorian calendar doesn't really match anything with nature. And then I'll pull some cards that I've prepared for you to do a reading about some guidance that's for all of us for this upcoming month. And the card that I pulled tonight were quite interesting, and I think you'll resonate with whatever is going on with you at the time. And then I'll do some drumming, some shamanic drumming, where you can connect to your intention and whatever you want to release, to heal, to maybe put into fruition in this new year. And be a little bit of sharing between each other. I'll put you in smaller groups, and then we'll have a coming together at the end and a closing. So usually the call lasts around an hour and a half. So it's really good if you really give yourself that time, meaning like disconnecting your phone. If there's kids around, you can bring the kids if you want, or leave them in another room, whatever you feel like. But really giving yourself these moments of presence, because the more you can be present with what is being shared and connect to it, the more you can get from that call. And if you feel like you need to reconnect more deeply, you can use the recording that I will send later today or tomorrow. So there'll be a full recording, audio and video. So if you want to go back to the prayer, if you want to go back maybe to something I shared and you didn't really hear or were not sure about it, you can go back to it. Yeah, and if you have to leave, the call, just leave the call, and you can come back to it whenever you want on the recording. So first, I'd like to, open this evening with a little prayer. So I invite you to just center yourself and maybe close your eyes and maybe bring an intention. An intention could be a prayer. That's another way to call it, which is whatever maybe is alive for you at this moment in your life. Sometimes people always ask me, what is the right way to pray? There's no wrong way to pray as long as it's something coming from your heart. So maybe it's something you're dealing with at the moment, physically or emotionally, or with your partner, with your family, with the world. So what is that intention that you want to bring? And I invite you to connect to that intention and to see what is alive for you. And just let that intention flow through the prayer that I'm going to share with you. Oh, great spirit, great mystery, dear creator of all life. We humbling ourselves as we pray with you, great spirit, trying to reconnect to our nature, our deeper wisdom, trying to reconnect to you, creator, that created this life form, this body, this breath, this heart, this mind, honoring you in all the forms around us. Calling the great spirit of the East, the spirit of the fire of the sunrise that rise every morning and bring with them the prayer of gratitude, gratitude for a new day, this new life. Every morning we have the opportunity to tap into, to open. May the spirit of the fire light our hearts and our lives, keep us warm, keep us protected. May it remind us to take care of our own fires, the fire in our heart, to take care of it, so we can align our prayer with the prayer of the great fire, grandfather fire, the fire that started this earth and this universe, full of wisdom, full of light. Calling the spirit of the East, grandfather Puma and grandmother Jaguar, the gatekeeper of that directions. May they teach us how to use our fire. May they teach us how to walk with fire. Calling the grandmothers and the grandfather of the West, grandmother water, the direction of the sunset, the prayers of the water, the vibration of the waters, the water that carry the power of letting go, of flow, of clarity. May we see our reflections in the waters. May we remember the prayer of the water, the prayer of clarity. May we allow the wisdoms of the water to come into our bodies, into our emotions, so we can flow like the great rivers, not holding back, not trying to control, trusting as the water do. Calling grandfather eagle and grandmother condor, calling your wisdom, grandfathers and grandmothers, teaching us how to fly high and to see clearly the details that matters in our lives, not to be entangled into the small details, never losing sight of the big picture. May we learn to fly like you, grandfather eagle, grandmother condor. May we understand your wisdom. May we take care of our waters. May we learn to settle our inner waters so we can see clearly beyond the mud of the ego and the mind. May we tap into that wisdom. Calling the grandmothers and the grandfather of the North, grandfather wind, the one that carry our prayers to all our relations to the Creator, the one that carry the prayers of all our relations into our hearts, into our ears. Thank you, grandfather, for carrying the prayer of unity, that one breath that unites us all, that one breath that we share with all our relations, reminding us that there is no others, that separation is an illusion, that we are all interdependent and needing each other to thrive, to be healthy, to be happy. Thank you, Grandfather Wind, for teaching us how to remember this prayer of unity, letting go of the ego that separates, letting us drop into our heart and see every relation as a brother and a sister with its own wisdom, its own strengths, power, and heart. May we learn from each other in this prayer. Thanking Grandfather Dear for guarding this direction, for bringing this prayer of unity. May we keep opening our heart until we do not see any more separation. May any separation we experience in our life be an invitation to do the great work of healing, of self-healing, until we see truth beyond illusions, beyond all illusions. Calling the grandmothers and the grandfather of the South, Grandmother Earth, the mother of all mother. Thank you, Mother, for teaching us how to love, how to give unconditionally. Thank you for reminding us of this beautiful prayer of unconditional love. Teaching us every day how you give to us without expecting nothing in return. Our food, our waters, our clothing, our relations, the beauty of the landscapes, all the land, the rivers, the mountains. Everything we have received come from you. May we understand and walk this path in the same way as you do, giving everything we have received. Calling Grandmother Snake, thank you, Grandmother, for teaching us how to walk on this earth softly, gently, reminding us to shed our skin with ease, teaching us how to do that with trust and faith, with no attachment to any identities. Thank you, Grandmother Spider, for guarding this gate and weaving such a perfect tapestry between all my relations, between all the directions, showing us that everything is connected, that everything is a source of wisdom, that everything has a purpose. May I remember your wisdom, Grandmother Spider. May I learn to weave my life in the same way you weaved my soul into the soul of all the others. May I see the beauty in the connection in all there is. Calling the spirit of the land below, the land I'm sitting on, the lands all the people here are sitting on. May we allow the wisdom of all our lands to transpire, to be heard. May we take care of our lands. May we remember that we are caretakers. May we honor those who came before us on those lands. May we remember that most of us lived on stolen lands. May we honor those lands so we can transmit them to the next 7 generations in better state than what we have received, in better health. May we remember we are all caretaker of those lands. Calling the spirit of above, spirit of the sky, spirit of the stars, spirit beyond the stars, spirit of the sun and the moon. Thank you for watching upon us as we walk this prayer, as we walk this life. Thank you for giving us inspiration, awe, and guidance. May we hear your wisdom. May we humble ourselves enough so we can hear your prayers, your guidance. May we trust in our own capacity to be guided, to be part of the whole, of the collective, from the smallest ants in the ground to the furthest away stars. May we know we are part of this whole. May we feel it in our hearts. May we allow it in our hearts. Aho. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining this this prayer this morning or this evening for you. So I want to invite you to just take a little notebook, if you have one, with you, or maybe a sheet of paper or anything you have there. and to just write one intention for this month of March. It could be one word. It could be that simple. You know, you don't have to write a book. It could be opening. It could be trust. It could be love. It could be letting go of something. It could be a better diet. It could be more sleep. It could be more kindness. Anything. You know, maybe one big one intention, you know, whatever is alive, you know, in that Saturday evening, whatever is alive this weekend, maybe something happened today or something is very present in your life at the moment. And you want to put your intention there. And I invite you, if you're feeling called to it, to post it in the little chat box on the side. Maybe you can post one word or, you know, just one thing, so we can share with each other those intentions, those prayers. So whatever is alive there. And me, I'm putting trust. That's the one I'm calling for. So yes, just do that in the little chat. You know, whatever is alive there. Flow, love, healing, giving thanks. It's beautiful. Clarity, releasing. Hey Adrian, I didn't see you were here.
I can't figure out how to leave it verb.
Yeah, just put in the chat box. There's a little chat button at the bottom and put it there. If not, that's fine. You don't have to. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit as you write that and as you write maybe your intention about the sharing of this month's theme. And so I try to always connect to what's happening in nature at the moment. And, you know, in the Northern Hemisphere, you know, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's kind of reversed. So it's a little bit, you know, difficult to do that. So the main thing that's happening at the moment is in the month of March is the beginning of the year for nature. So it's what we call spring. And very often Native American, they use the full moon of that month to give it a name that's related to what's happening. And the full moon of the month of March, so there's different names, you know, very often people look for name of moons, but depending of the tribes, depending of the tradition, it can be a lot of different names. But one of the common name that was used is called the worm moon, like the little earthworm that lives in the soil. That was the name of the moon of the month of March, because the time of the year was those worms start percolating some earth outside the ground. You know, you walk around and you see a little amount of earth coming out, like it's the earthworm starting coming back to life and, you know, feeding themselves and breathing. And it's a beautiful symbol, because it's really what's going to happen with all the seeds and all the plants. They're going to start piercing the earth and coming out. But this is the first thing we see, is the earthworm that are just putting earth out and breathing. And so they call it the earthworm moon, which to me always is also very beautiful wisdom in so many ways, because, you know, the January moon was a wolf moon. And it just shows you that native people see every animal with the same beauty. You know, they use wolf moon, but they use earthworm moon. They don't care if it's a tiny animal that live in the ground and maybe that's not as pretty as a wolf or an eagle. They give it the name of that moon, They honor the little small creator for what it brings, for what it gives. And just right there, you have a lot of wisdom, just if you get to sit with that, because very often we look to connect to the wolf and to the eagle or the bear, and we stop paying attention maybe to the earthworm, the little flies, the little ants. And that's a self-reflection that we can be invited to look at also on how we do that with ourselves. We're always looking for the big things and the big changes, and the tiny, tiny little things inside of us. Sometimes we just don't honor them, So that's the moon of this month of March. And that's a moon that's inviting us to basically honoring the new year, the rebirth of life, the beginning of life again, where everything get a chance to be rebirthed, everything get a chance to be renewed. And that's something that we can experience every morning. There's this beautiful prayer. I think I mentioned it in my prayer. I'm not sure because I don't remember usually when I pray what I prayed, but the east direction, the new morning, the new sun every morning, we thanks for our life because we're opening our eyes and we alive again. We consider this breath, this new day, a gift from the creator, because one day it's not going to happen. One day we're not going to have another day. And so native wisdom always encourages us to honor things that maybe are in front of our eyes all the time and we don't see anymore. It could be our relations, it could be our flowers, it could be our partners, but it could be also ourselves. And honoring that, we have this new beginning that is possible. And so that's what the month of March is about, asking us to really connect to this potential of renewal inside of us. So the equinox is going to arrive on March 19 this year. It's very early. Usually it's March 20 or 21st. So first time I think in 400 years that it's March 19. So it's interesting. Very early in the month. And inviting us to, I will give a practice for the end of the class here, of the communion together, of something we can do to really honor that and tap into nature potential of renewal. Every part of nature is going to get renewed and we are not separated from it. So we have an opportunity to use that energy to tap into it. So every month also, as we move the earth around the sun, we tap into a new direction. And the month of March is associated with the east direction also, that first direction, the first sunrise. Spring, very often in the medicine wheel, is associated with east, which is the beginning, the first light, the seed that we are planting and starting to grow, this opportunity for renewal. And the main prayer that's on the east is that prayer of gratitude. They say that should be the first prayer we say in the morning when we wake up. Instead of worrying about jobs and what's on my phone and messages and what happened yesterday and what I'm going to do, can I just take a moment when I wake up in the morning and just be grateful that I'm alive? Maybe grateful that there is a beautiful being next to me or in another room or in another house somewhere, someone that loves me. Could be a parent, a friend. Grateful that I'm in this body so I can experience this life again and again. And maybe my body is not in perfect health, but I'm still breathing maybe. Maybe I still got an opportunity to love myself, to love others, to give to others. So that's really that prayer of invitation, the east direction, the first prayer in the morning. And that's a symbol of spring. You can really look at a tree. It always amazes me, by the way, to go around my land in upstate New York and sometimes see a little bit of snow or frozen ground and then see some bursting life, like a flower coming out or a piece of green or an insect even. I really wonder where this insect went the last 5 months under snow. How did he survive? What happened? when I see the first bees, flying around, or, most of those guys spend their time underground and then they get to be reborn. And so if we take a moment to just connect to that, and there's nothing, special gift we need to have to do that. It's just mindfulness, awareness. Can I take a moment to just be amazed again by this capacity of renewal of nature, this capacity of rebirth? If I can see it in nature, I can see it in myself. If I can trust in nature for its capacity to be reborn and bring something new, I can allow that in myself, maybe in stories that I've held for too long. Self-talk, self-blame, self-hate, self-judgment. Maybe also that can open to my capacity to see someone else differently. They say that for those of you that were here in the shamanic wisdom of February, we talk about the smoke mirrors, that the mirrors that we look into are not very clear. There is smoke on it when we look in the morning. So we don't see ourselves anymore very much. We see this image we have created, maybe a certain belief system that we are like this. And we kind of keep living our life that way because the mirror is not very clean. And they say that if we cannot see ourselves clearly, we cannot see others clearly. If I cannot let go of my story, I would never be able to let go about the stories of others, the way I see them. So the work starts here. And sometimes it's hard to let go of our own stories. So then I can find compassion in others when they don't let go of their own stories, their own drama. I carry my own drama, my own stuff. I know how hard it is sometimes to let go. So I can reflect that. So spring is that opportunity. That's what we're invited into. And so you can walk with the east direction every morning, especially even more in this month of March, to call for gratitude. You will be surprised if you do a gratitude practice for like 10 days or 15 days straight every morning, what is going to come out. You might run dry after 3 or 4 days, think you have told about everything you're grateful for, and then something's going to burst and you can start seeing something else coming out. That's the beauty of the gratitude practice. Then realize, oh my God, I didn't realize. And listen, gratitude is not about spiritual bypassing. It's not about life is amazing and there's nothing wrong there. No. It's, I can be grateful for my anger, for my pain, for my sadness. Because when I'm grateful for something, I open my heart around it. And when I open my heart around it, I have more space to work with it. So instead of my fear or my sadness to control me, I give it a big heart space around it so it can unfold, it can breathe, it can have space. And so I can connect to more of the wisdom that is there. If I'm really tight around it, I say, I don't want this, it's too much, that's going to be pushed away. I won't have enough space to breathe and I won't be able to tap into it, into the full wisdom. So that's what we mean by gratitude, It's not just focusing on the positive. It's also looking at what's there, what we call negative or what we call maybe, triggering, and being curious like a little child. What is there? What's the opportunity there? There's always an opportunity of learning and growth and shifting. So I want to transition into the card reading before we go into the healing and the processing on that, because there's a lot of wisdom there that's associated with it. So I want to share that with you. Can you see the 4 cards here? Yeah. Okay, you can see that. So I did a little bit of a different spread this time than the one I did last time with you. So I did what's called a 4 direction spread. So I pulled the card basically for every direction: the east on the right, the west on the left, and the north on top, and the south at the bottom. And so the way we are going to read those cards, and I invite you to connect whatever I'm sharing here to your intention, to see how it resonates with your own intention, your own inquiry. So the East card, the one I'm going to open now, it expresses the door you are opening right now in your life at the moment. So see it as a seed you can plant. We are in spring. It represents spring here at the moment. So what is that thing that we need to nurture? So the card that was pulled here is called South Shield, Innocence and Inner Child. So the South Shield represent our child within, our inner child within. It's a place where life begins inside of us, where it began and when it can begin again. So it's a connection with the innocence and the inner child that we have inside of us. And what this card is inviting us to look at is where we do not give enough space for that inner child. Basically, when have we become too tight and too serious, too contracted? If we're too tight with our belief, or an adult that's too serious, we don't give space for the inner child, for the innocence, for the rebirth, for creativity. So maybe we lost our smile, you know, or we lost our capacity to joke, to not take ourselves too seriously. So that card is an invitation to look at our ego, how tight it is. Can we be humbled again? Can we be amazed again? So it's inviting us to balance basically work, serious things, with play. Can we balance the two? Or are we just always in work, 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 seriousness, seriousness? Or can we balance it with play? Or can we balance sacredness with irreverence? That's a tough one for spiritual people. Moments I can make very sacred in my life, and moments it's just about foolishness. It's a trickster medicine. You know, in Native American wisdom, there's always a trickster, someone that does something crazy, something that's deemed or looked at not sacred, but that's here to bring wisdom, to get people to let go of seriousness and tightness around spirituality. So the trickster medicine is very important here. So in other words, you know, where are the part in us that need to be lightened up, that I need to bring this rising sun that maybe I've let die a little bit? Maybe it's something I loved to do when I was young. Maybe it's just about losing up some muscles and play, dance. If we spend a whole day on a chair in an office. So in any case, that card is asking us to look what we have not allowed from our inner child to be in our life. When are we tightening it up? So it invites us to take things a little bit less seriously. And you can maybe connect that to our intention. What is there? So let's move on the second card. So that second card is in the south. And that's the beginning of the pathway into that reading. So what do we need to do here to get onto that track? And the card is there is the giveaway ceremony, or it's called release also. So the giveaway ceremony in Native American wisdom was ceremony that were done so people would bring an object that was the most sacred to them to be offered, to be given for someone else. So it was really teaching people about letting go. But more than that, it was about looking at our gift and the things that we have and we are not using. So it was not just objects. It could be something that I'm not using anymore and want to give to someone. You know, a Native American consider that every object has a sacred purpose. And if I have a pot on the shelves that I've never using in my home, the sacred purpose of that pot is not being, honored. And so I need to give that pot away to someone that's going to give that pot the opportunity to serve its sacred purpose. You know, how many objects and things like that we have in our home that are not serving their sacred purpose because we don't use them anymore by fear. We keep them, fear of lacking. So that giveaway ceremony was an opening into trust, into surrender that, hey, maybe there's things I need to give away because they'll be served by someone else. But here you can also look at it in relations to the first card. What is that thing that I need to let go that will allow my inner child to find its place in my life? Maybe it's seriousness. Maybe it's tightness. Maybe it's a story. Maybe it's an emotion. Maybe it's an object. Maybe it's a relation. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a way of living. Maybe it's a food habit. Maybe it's a way I talk to myself. Maybe it's a practice that's not serving me anymore. So I just invite you to just, write whatever comes here. What is my giveaway ceremony should be about? And remember, the giveaway ceremony is about something that we somehow hold very dearly. We hold very tight, very dearly. Doesn't mean it serves. Doesn't mean it's nice sometimes. Sometimes we hold very dearly some aspect of ourselves that are not so serving for ourselves or others. But what is it that I want to keep it? What is it that I want to hold so tightly? Why? And what would be the gift of giving them away? What would happen if I give that away? This month of March is all about that renewal. So the third card is the shawl, returning home. So before I go into detail about that, I want to tell you a little bit about the shawl. People that take the shawl, that comes from Native American tradition that came after colonizations, where, as you know, when colonization happened, many Native Americans were killed, assassinated, and and for those of them that survived, they were put on reservations in different type of homes, sometimes they far from their land. And one new ceremony happened that was created at that moment that was called taking the shawl, which was basically Native American people that decided to leave the reservation or to leave this modern way of life, like the Western mind, the Western white man wanted them to have, and to go back to the forest, go back to their ancient ways, go back to their traditions. And it's called returning home. So it was not just returning home in the sense of location, it was more returning home in connection to who we are, in connection to nature, in connection to our ancestors, to the ancient ways. That's why you have this beautiful picture here of a shore with a river that's falling down the bottom, and this, land that looks like two wings flowing back into. And the west, it's interesting because in the west direction, which is the direction of the sacred water, which is flow, once you remove the blocks, the river can flow again, can find its rhythm again. So the shoal is that returning home here. So if you connect that to the reading we just had on the previous card, we invite you, or the card, I would say, invite us, to return home. So what does that mean? Where have we forgotten ourselves? Maybe remember our essence, our potential. Maybe it's about returning home in our hearts because we've been too much in our head. So returning to a loving heart. Maybe it's coming back home to that inner child, to that magic, to that potential, that sense of renewal that's ever possible for everyone. Very often that returning home, it's returning to the simplicity of happiness that is possible when we make life more simple, more connected. So if you wear that shawl, you're coming back into the arm of the mother, the earth, connection to nature. Also, one of the big responsibility that was asked to people taking the shawl was to being loving to those who have forgotten the sacred path of the way home. How can I be forgiving and maybe more compassionate and loving to people maybe that have forgotten that way home, whatever it means? Maybe they are stuck into anger. Maybe they are disconnected from nature. Maybe they are jealous. Maybe they are creating separations. So if I hold the sacred ways, I need to open my heart to them and open my compassion to them, being loving, showing them the sacred ways through my way of being, not through separation. So that is the last card. A very interesting one. So that last card in the north direction is what will happen, what is going to happen to me if I follow this path. Those three previous cards here. So it is a war bonnet, which is that headdress with all the feather on it. So that war bonnet was given to the best warrior in tribes, the people that hold the most wisdom, the most courage, the most strength. And they are usually, covered with eagle feathers. But, no eagle were killed to make those war bonnets. The warriors, the way they did it, they would trap a rabbit or prey somewhere in a hole, and they would hide behind rocks until an eagle would come to pick up that rabbit. And then they would try to pluck a feather or two when the eagle was there, trying not to be, armed or damaged by it. And that's how they would collect, feather. And it would take a while and a lot of courage and a lot of, fiercelessness to be able to build those war bonnets and to hold that. So here, that's the invitation at the end of the path. If we follow that guidance for these months, which is perfect, I found, for this month of March. It's telling us that it's time to advance, basically. It's time to step up. That we are now ready to move on our sacred path, like a chief that wear this war bonnet. That we have earned the right to step into that power. So you can look at your destiny or your life at the moment like this war bonnet, and each feather on this bonnet is a wisdom you pick up along the way. All the gifts that you have, collected, all the skills, all the wisdom. Some are maybe very recent skills that you have, some are maybe very ancient. And knowing that this is a war bonnet you're going to wear, we're wearing all those skills set on our head. That's all our eagle feather. All the things that I've collected. And maybe one just came out today from reading and say, oh, I'm going to let go of that. That's one more feather on my war bonnet. What I'm releasing, what I'm letting in. Maybe there's a feather for the inner child, the playfulness. Maybe there's a feather for letting go of seriousness. Maybe there's a feather for letting go of a story. So that is the invitation here, and showing us that all of that's been happening here in our life has built this war bonnet, that skill set that I have. So I'm going to do a little drumming for a few minutes, for 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm going to invite you to lay down maybe, or close your eyes, or sit down, whatever works for you. And to release, any attachment to what this healing should look like or feel like, but just to open your heart to the vibration and the sound of the drum, and let that circulate, with whatever wisdom has been coming up for you in this reading. So just close your eyes and just let that drumming, I might be singing a little bit, I don't know. Just connect to it. Just enjoy it like a little child. Connect to your inner child. Just let it move. Because that's what that heartbeat of the earth is, the heartbeat of the drum, is what will connect to that inner wisdom that we are letting happen here. There's nothing you have to do, but just to let it in. And just stay connected to your heart. And gather there whatever it is that you want to let go on this new year, these months of spring and rebirth, and release it down into your legs and into the earth, giving it back to Mother Earth. Gently, just trusting she is there for you, as she is there for everybody. With that space created inside your heart, what it is that wants to be birthed, to be born again, maybe, or born for the first time. What am I seeding for this upcoming equinox in a few weeks? Which space do I want to create? Where do I want to focus my prayers so that new birth can happen? Letting go and allowing, giving back and receiving. All in perfect balance, always. And when you're done, when you feel complete with your own process, you can put a hand on your hearts and maybe on your womb, or maybe two hands in prayer on your forehead, just bowing and acknowledging your power, acknowledging your connection, trusting that all the prayers are heard. However imperfect maybe our prayers might be sometimes, the one that's listening knows how to listen. So honoring yourself in this moment and honoring the Creator in whatever form it takes for you. And maybe I'm going to give you a few minutes to just write down whatever maybe moved during the drumming or whatever is there alive. If you want to write a few sentences there in your journal to anchor that feeling, maybe anchor what is present. So I'm going to give you 4 minutes to share with each other in smaller groups. So it's called breakout rooms. So it's going to be doing that automatically. You're going to see your screen is going to change, and you're going to be paired with 2 or 3 other people. And I just invite you, you don't know each other. So that's an opportunity to just introduce yourself quickly, just say your name and just share with your heart what's here, what's your intention. So you can be witnessed by someone else, can be heard. And you can also hear, and I invite you when you listen to someone, just to listen with your heart and to receive that prayer and honor this beautiful being that you've never met, and to honor their prayer and hold them. So it'd be 4 minutes and you will see a little flashlight or something that tells you it's done when we're finished. So I see you on the other side. I'll call you back there. Uh, here we go. So just click join and you'll be joining the room. Yeah. Yeah, just click the join button if you haven't joined yet. Welcome back. So I want to give you just a little bit for 3 or 4 of you that feel like sharing. Just unmute yourself. And I'll give you a couple of minutes. If you want to share, just share your experience about what is your intention here. Just raise your hand and I'll unmute you because there's a few of you that want to speak. And yes, Adrienne, yes, please go for it.
All right, I'll try. My intentions were the release and the clarity, and I got both through the exercise and through the prayer. I didn't realize so heavily, and you know my history, that I needed to release an old relationship because it was a painful love, and what I got was that I needed to go back to that childlike love that's in me, that childlike love that we're born with, that's so pure and so giving and so deep and so eternal and so present. And in my clarity, I want to know where professionally I'm supposed to go next. Direct me. I have all these things I want to do, but I know as I know have a general sense I'm supposed to be with women. I do that kind of work. But where am I headed next? Because I'm not doing pap smears anymore. I am not doing as many pap smears, but I want to be more meaningful to women. So the connection was I need to fully let go of that painful hurt and love, leave painful love out of my life. Love isn't supposed to be painful. Gain that pure love that I had and go forward with that because I have everything I need within me. It was really powerful for me.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, sister.
I'm going to have a good month, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else feel like sharing whatever is moving for you or what has moved? Yeah, Catherine, let's go.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is actually River.
Oh, sorry, I was
No,
reading.
no, that's okay. It's technology, Zoom technology, but I just have so much gratitude for this space right now in this moment, and wanted to share that. And sometimes it can be difficult for me to share.
Mhm.
And so in honoring the playfulness and letting go of the ego and the really amazingly beautiful reading that really resonated, I wanted to offer my voice of gratitude to you and everybody else who's here. And what a beautiful way for us to connect in and be together at this time. And so much of the prayer and the reading was exactly what I needed and wanted and feel needed to hear, needed to remember. And there's been a lot moving in me with having a very internal and somewhat isolated practice. And so having had the chance to find my way to the sanctuary and the offerings that you have posted, finding a lot of solace and a lot that is aligned for me feels like such a gift. And I'm really looking forward to the give back. I'm really looking forward to that process that I have been in. A lot of it is of the reading is a lot of what's been happening for me. And so thank you everyone for being here and being such beautiful, amazing creatures walking this path and coming together to unite, to find our clarity, to remember our clarity, to be in prayer together.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, sister. Thank you for your prayer. Yeah, I mean, it was the whole goal, that offering came to me in a prayer. There's some offering like that, sometimes just come and Spirit tell me to do that. And I really felt, obviously, we are in pretty intense time on the planet and our communities and our countries and, our, families at the moment, that I really feel we need to use, technology somehow to gather ourselves together, so we feel the support. It's easy to get isolated in that work sometime, or to feel overwhelmed by what's happening. And I do believe that the experience is universal. what we're experiencing. I don't think it's just some people experiencing it. I think some feel it and some don't feel it as much, but it's all an experience that we are having. And I feel we can transmit it if we are together. We can allow and witness each other. And be seen. And it's like you say, it's not always easy to be witnessed and seen. And it's culturally not something we are very comfortable with, at least Western culture. Just grieve. I wrote recently about grieving together, because I feel there's tremendous amount of grief that needs to happen, and came through my time in the old forest and witnessing that disappear, and feeling we need to grieve. We need to process those emotions, because if not, it's easy to transform into anger and separation. However spiritual we are, it can turn into a bit of tightness. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I changed your name, by the way, just on the thing.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, so the last part here is to prepare for March 19, which is the equinox. So it's a Thursday, I believe. And I want to invite you here, and maybe the people are going to listen to the recording, to start preparing your spring ceremony or your New Year ceremony. I like the idea of New Year with springs. How do we prepare that? What does it mean for us? And I can't really give guidance about it, because I feel that the more it is personal, the more deeper it will be with your heart, with your own practice. And we all come from, different horizons and cultures, and maybe even spiritual practices. But the idea of making something sacred is making it like we bring an intention. We're going to say, I'm going to spend an hour with that on that specific day. Maybe you're going to do a specific prayers or a specific meal or a specific time for it. And it could be in your bedroom, it could be in the forest, it could be at your temple, wherever you pray, it doesn't really matter. But just making this idea of sacred by bringing an intention to it, and by bringing a presence to it, whatever is in your heart at that moment. And inviting you, a good way to do that in native practices, this idea of release is to use the fire for the release. And it can be a candle, or it can be a real fire, a bigger fire. I mean, still a real fire, just a bigger fire. And writing maybe what you want to let go on a paper, and burn that as an offering. So preparing yourself, really connecting with that intention, and being ready that day to maybe let go of something. And maybe on another paper, another way to do it is to write what you want to birth. What is that things you want to receive? And you can put a little bit of sacred tobacco with it and bury it in the ground somewhere. Bury it into the earth. You're planting the seeds, knowing that prayer is going to be heard. And we put sacred tobacco, as a way of offering, as a way of connecting. You can also put tobacco in the release paper that you burn. That's also a good way to do it. So it's almost, the giveaway ceremony, just to connect that back into the reading today. The idea of giveaway is the idea of sacrifice. But the root of sacrifice is making sacred. That's what sacrifice means. It's making it sacred, like special. And so very often we see sacrifice or letting go is hard because we see it that somehow, you know, it's like this separation. But in fact, it's not separation from that point of view. It's making it sacred. Giving back into the earth is not really an idea of separation. It's just giving it back to the whole, which I'm part of. But I'm just changing my relationship to it. I'm not disconnecting from it. I'm changing my relationship to it. So instead of having something that's tensed and that's not serving, that's maybe not healing, I'm healing that, but I'm staying connected in a different way by releasing into the earth, by doing a sacred giveaway to the earth, and by receiving something new that comes back to me. So what sacrifice I'm ready to make? You know, but the word is so loaded, I feel, at least for me in my mind, you know, as a maybe, and English is not my first language, so I don't know. But even in French, that's pretty loaded word, sacrifice, you know. But see, as a sacred offering. So how can we prepare that? And I will have a special call on the 19th on the evening. It's not in the calendar yet. It's going to be there in a few days. But I'll invite you to prepare for that. And if you want to connect, there'll be some drumming and singing and just a little bit of more container for that. If you want to connect at that moment, I want to offer that to the community so we can connect to each other on that evening of the Thursday, 19th of March. So prepare that. And you know, it's a good way also sometimes to do it with friends and to invite other people. Maybe a few good friends that you have with you, and they don't have to be with you that day, but say, hey, I'm doing that and I want to be witnessed. I want to share that with a few sisters or a few brothers. And there's a power of coming together and praying together. That's why we're doing this here. And maybe you can do that with also some friends. If you cannot join on the 19th the call and you just want to do that with maybe with your family, you know, if you're with your daughter. I don't know, Amy, you were with your daughter tonight. Hello. Or you know, or is you know, your husband or whoever you want that you want to bring in the group. And if there's nobody around, just join us on that call, or join us with your friend. Bring a few friends that evening and bring everybody there. That'd be fun. So that's a good opportunity, you know, to connect and to release and to really set the tone. You know, if we don't change the way we are, you know, we cannot expect changes in our life. So we really have to take self-responsibility of what is it right now that I want to shift. And last advice on that, just pick up one thing. Don't pick up too many things. We can get very entangled. I want this and I want that and I want this. If you sit with it for a few days and you have 10 days, almost a bit more to get to the 19th, you're going to know what is the one thing you want to let go and the one thing you want to invite. It's always more powerful. We get so distracted. We feel like it's like a Santa Claus list of gifts. I need to write everything and I want to make sure I got all of them. But doesn't really work like that with prayer. You know, just pick a good one that feels juicy and alive. Okay. Okay, so do you guys have any questions, anything you want to share? I'm going to do a closing prayer. Yes, Matt, you have a question? Let me unmute you. Yeah.
Right. There's one thing to let go and one thing to, what was the other thing?
To bring in, to plant or to seed that you want to nurture.
Right.
We let go, we make space, then this empty space, we plant something. It's like the garden, like nature does.
Is there any possibility of coming to the sanctuary to do this? Because I really
probably not that evening. Yeah, not that evening. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we can talk.
If there is, I'll put it online, but I don't know yet. I'll see when I'm back.
Oh, do you know when you?
Anybody else has something I want to share? Okay. So just invite you to, close your eyes and so much gratitude for all of you for being here and sharing and feeling into each other, just letting that be, taking this moment from our crazy lives and this crazy world, to just center it and connect with our hearts and slow down to the pace of nature, to hear, to receive. Yeah, there is no anxiety in nature. Doesn't exist. That's a human construct of the ego. As we slow down and we connect to those directions, and that fear goes away because everything is in order. Oh, great spirit, great mystery. Thank you. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this breath, this heart, this skin, those eyes, this nose, those ears that hear and feel and smell. Thank you for this life. Thank you for bringing us together in this circle tonight, connecting us through the means of technology and your technology, the highest of all, that connects our hearts, that make us feel, make us remember, make us pray. Thank you, Great Spirit, for your guidance tonight. Thank you for guiding us through all the means that you can use to have us listen and hear and remember. Thanking the Great Spirits of the East, Grandfather Fire. Thank you, Grandfather, for your prayer of gratitude. Thank you for lighting the lights into our hearts, into our lives, burning away what doesn't belong anymore, warming up what needs to be planted in these beautiful months of spring. Thanking the jaguar and the puma for showing us how to walk with the fire. Thanking the grandmothers and the grandfathers of the West, Grandmother Water. Thank you, Grandmother, for your prayer of clarity, for your flow, for teaching us how to let go, to just trust like the great rivers, surrendering to your vibration, the vibration of the water that carry the memories of the earth, the memories of all living beings. Thank you for reminding us to take care of our own waters, our emotions, our sacred waters. Thank you to the eagle and the condor for teaching us how to see clearly from great heights, letting go of the tiny details that don't matter, remembering the big picture, but also knowing where to focus. Thank you, eagle, condor, for your gift of sight. Thanking the grandmothers and the grandfather of the north, Grandfather Wind. Thank you for bringing the prayer of unity, reminding us that we are not separated. We are all connected, reminding us that there is no others. It's all an illusion. Reminding us that this life is all about giving all what we have received. Nothing is for us to keep. It's all to be given. Thank you, Grandfather Wind, to remind us of that connection. Grandfather Deer, for carrying this beautiful prayer of unity. May we open our heart enough to experience this prayer in our daily life. May we open our heart enough until we don't see any more separation with any relations, one-legged, two-legged, four-legged, winged ones, furring ones, all of my relation. Thanking the grandmothers and the grandfather of the South, Grandmother Earth, Mother of all Mother. Thanking the sacred waters in which we were born, reminding ourselves that we are in a belly, the belly of Mother Earth, coming from the belly of our mother, from one belly to another belly. reminding us that we are the children. We are here to learn from our mother, reminding us to respect our mother, to honor her, knowing that she will give unconditionally, and that in return, she's us asking for our love. May we be good children. May we walk gently and softly on this earth. May we take care of all your relations, Mother, all your children. May all my relations have good water, good food, good shelter, be protected, be loved, be united, support each other, be kind to each other. May we walk all those prayers and remember why we came here, what this life is about. Ow. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful time together. Wishing you a beautiful evening. I'll be putting that recording online and sending you an email when the recording is available. I look forward to maybe seeing some of you at the next communion in a month, or at the prayer on the 19th for the equinox. So much love. Thanks to each and every one of you. So grateful that we connect like this. Much love.